Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Imagine Beijing's Tiananmen Square, September 2025. The first light of dawn spills across the vast expanse, illuminating a scene that feels both historic and electric. The air is thick with anticipation, as if the very stones beneath the square are aware that something monumental is about to unfold. Crowds gather, their faces a mix of pride, curiosity, and awe, as the world's attention converges on this iconic heart of China. Thousands of soldiers march in perfect formation, their synchronized steps echoing like a drumbeat of national resolve. Tanks rumble past, their armored hulls gleaming in the morning sun, a testament to technological might and military discipline. Overhead, fighter jets roar through the sky, leaving behind vibrant trails of red and gold, colors that symbolize the nation's enduring spirit. The spectacle is not just a show of force but a carefully orchestrated display of unity, power, and ambition. This is more than a parade, it's a declaration. Every salute, every banner, every measured step is a message to the world. China stands strong, and it is not alone. The crowd silence is heavy with meaning, as if everyone present understands the gravity of this moment in history. The world's geopolitical plates have shifted, leaving Western capitals reeling. Headlines flash across screens from Washington to London as analysts scramble to interpret the new balance of power. The old certainties are dissolving, replaced by a sense of unease and urgent recalibration. At the heart of this spectacle, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin side by side. Their presence is more than symbolic. It is a signal to friend and foe alike that a new partnership is taking shape, one with the potential to reshape the global order. Their message is clear: the era of a unipolar world is over. The banners behind them proclaim a vision of multipolarity, of shared influence and mutual respect. The military officers standing at attention are not just guardians of their nations, but sentinels of a new era. Decades of Western-led order are now facing their greatest challenge since the Cold War. The echoes of past rivalries resurface, but this time the alliances and ambitions are different. Western leaders, once confident in their dominance, now find themselves navigating a world where old rules no longer apply. The China-Russia alliance has burst into the open, presenting a comprehensive alternative to Western leadership. Their cooperation extends beyond military might, encompassing diplomacy, technology, and economic strategy. Together, they offer a new model for international relations, one that challenges the status quo and invites others to join. This is not a fleeting alignment, but the deliberate construction of a parallel global system, with its own security pacts, financial institutions, and vision for the 21st century. New agreements are signed, new organizations rise, and a new architecture of power begins to take shape, brick by brick. As the world watches, the question is no longer if a new world order is emerging, but what it will look like, and who will stand on either side. The choices made in these pivotal moments will echo for generations, shaping the destinies of nations and the lives of billions. The symphony of power in Beijing is the prelude to a new, uncertain chapter in global history. As the sun sets over the city, the world holds its breath, waiting to see what the next movement in this unfolding drama will bring. The China-Russia alliance didn't appear overnight. Decades of shared grievances and opposition to American dominance laid the groundwork. The 2014 annexation of Crimea and Western sanctions pushed Russia toward China, while Beijing saw opportunity in Moscow's isolation. The 2022 Ukraine invasion deepened their ties. China became Russia's economic lifeline, refusing to condemn the war and expanding trade. This no-limits partnership proved resilient, with China enabling Russia to withstand Western pressure. Built on high-level meetings, joint military exercises, and booming trade, the alliance is now challenging the very foundations of the post-Cold War world. Together, they have become indispensable allies, methodically constructing a new global order. At the core of the China-Russia axis is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO. Once a modest security forum, the SCO has grown into a political, economic, and security bloc rivaling NATO and the G7. With members like India, Pakistan, Iran, and Belarus, the SCO now represents nearly half the world's population and over a third of global GDP. Its agenda has expanded to infrastructure, trade in local currencies, and advanced technology, laying the groundwork for a self-sustaining Eurasian ecosystem. The SCO's evolution signals a clear intent to build an alternative framework for global governance, with Beijing and Moscow at the helm. The 2025 SCO summit in Tianjin was a turning point. Leaders arrived to grand ceremonies projecting unity and shared purpose. A photo of Xi, Putin and Modi together signaled a profound regional realignment. China announced an AI cooperation center and invited members to its lunar research station, challenging US dominance in technology and space. Behind the scenes, plans for an SCO development bank and a new payment system to bypass the dollar took shape. The goal, a de-dollarized economic zone insulating members from US sanctions. The summit marked the moment these ambitions became concrete action. Days after the summit, Beijing's military parade stunned the world. China showcased hypersonic missiles, stealth fighters, drones and cyber units, demonstrating it has closed the technological gap with the US. Putin's presence, and Russian troops marching alongside Chinese forces, turned the event into a statement of alliance. The message any conflict with one partner could draw in the other, creating a two-front challenge for the West. This was the physical manifestation of the No Limits partnership. The dragon's roar from Tiananmen Square echoed in Washington, Brussels and Tokyo. Amid the spectacle, the most consequential act was the signing of the Power of Siberia 2 gas pipeline agreement. Stretching from Siberia to northern China, this pipeline will deliver up to 50 billion cubic meters of gas annually, cementing energy interdependence. For Russia, it's an economic lifeline, redirecting gas once destined for Europe to a vast new market. For China, it's energy security, an overland supply safe from maritime blockades. The pipeline locks both nations into a symbiotic relationship, creating a powerful energy bloc independent of Western markets. As Europe debates new sanctions, Russia finds new buyers in the east. The steel and gas artery is the backbone of the new Eurasian alliance. The alliance is shaking the global economy, sending ripples through financial markets and challenging the long-standing status quo. For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of international trade, acting as the world's reserve currency and giving the United States significant influence over global finance. Now, a growing coalition of countries is actively targeting the US dollar's dominance, seeking to reduce their reliance on it for cross-border transactions and reserves. The power of Siberia. The deal between Russia and China is a landmark example, as it will be settled entirely in yuan and rubles, bypassing the dollar altogether. This move removes billions from the dollar-based energy trade, signaling a shift in how major commodities are bought and sold. Russia now conducts over a quarter of its trade with China in yuan. This figure is rising steadily as both nations deepen their economic ties and encourage others to follow suit. India, too, has begun buying Russian oil in non-dollar currencies, experimenting with rupees, yuan, and even dirhams to settle deals. Each transaction chips away at the dollar's supremacy, gradually eroding its share of global reserves and trade settlements. In response, new payment systems and financial networks are emerging, building a parallel financial ecosystem that operates outside the traditional Western-dominated framework. Meanwhile, Europe, having weaned itself off Russian gas in the wake of geopolitical tensions, is reconfiguring its energy sources and supply chains. Now, the continent depends heavily on Chinese technology for its ambitious green transition. Solar panels, batteries, and wind turbines are increasingly sourced from China. In effect, Europe is trading one dependency for another, highlighting the interconnected and sometimes precarious nature of global trade. The rise of the Eurasian bloc is forcing nations worldwide to make difficult choices, align with emerging powers, stick with traditional partners, or attempt to navigate a complex middle ground. For many, the path forward is uncertain, as they weigh economic opportunities against political risks in a rapidly changing landscape. China's Belt and Road Initiative is expanding its reach, building infrastructure and trade routes that connect Asia, Africa, and Europe. Alongside the SCO market, these projects offer the Global South an alternative to Western-led development models, promising investment and new partnerships. As a result, the world economy is fragmenting into competing blocs, each vying for influence and control over trade, technology, and finance. Each bloc is developing its own rules, standards, and supply chains, reshaping the future of globalization and setting the stage for a new era of economic rivalry. The China-Russia axis and SCO expansion are accelerating a shift to a bipolar world. On one side, the US and its democratic allies; on the other, a Eurasian bloc led by Beijing and Moscow. This isn't a simple replay of the Cold War. Ideological lines are blurrier, and the competition is over systems of governance and influence. The Eurasian bloc's appeal lies in state sovereignty and non-interference, attracting nations wary of Western dominance. International institutions are increasingly deadlocked, paralyzed by great power rivalry. Middle powers like India, Turkey, and Brazil are hedging, seeking autonomy by balancing both sides. Their choices on technology, trade, and alliances will shape the new global competition. The world is more fragmented, less governable, and more contested than ever. As of September 19, 2025, the world has irrevocably changed. The geopolitical landscape is shifting in ways we could have never imagined just a few years ago. The balance of power is no longer what it used to be, and nations are scrambling to adapt to this new reality. One analyst put it best: Russia is the tornado, China is the climate. Russia's actions are sudden and disruptive, like a storm that changes everything in its path. Meanwhile, China's influence is more gradual but equally transformative, akin to the slow but relentless effects of climate change. Russia disrupts, China transforms the environment. Russian military maneuvers and political strategies create immediate chaos, while China's economic policies and infrastructural projects reshape the global landscape over time. The West faces a dual challenge, responding to Russia's aggression and countering China's systemic rise. Western nations are caught in a complex web of diplomatic and military challenges, trying to balance immediate threats with long-term strategic planning. The China-Russia partnership is more than the sum of its parts: energy, military, economic, and technological power combined. This alliance is reshaping global alliances and creating new power dynamics that the world must now navigate. Their vision of a new Eurasian order and a de-dollarized world is now a reality in motion. This new order challenges the existing global financial systems and introduces new trade routes and economic partnerships. The Tianjin Summit and Beijing Parade unveiled this project to the world. These events were not just ceremonial, they were declarations of a new era, signaling the rise of a formidable alliance. Old assumptions have crumbled: economic integration didn't liberalize China, and sanctions didn't isolate Russia. The strategies that once seemed foolproof are now being questioned, as the global order is being rewritten. The key question now: how to compete with the alternative system they are building. Western nations must innovate and strategize to remain competitive in this new world order. The story of the China-Russia alliance is the defining geopolitical story of our time, and its next chapter is just beginning. As the world watches, the actions taken today will shape the future for generations to come.